Well, my guest today says one of the most common questions he gets is, where do I set my stop losses and profit targets? Hubert Centers is here with me today from TradeTheMarkets.com. Hubert, I know it's a big question. How do I decide how much that I want to lose and how much I'm going to make on every trade?
Ultimately, it's a personal question and it's a personal answer, but we get it a lot because people think there's some magical formula that we use for stops and targets, and we don't. Everybody uses different stops and targets for everything. Here's a couple good rules of thumb. You can either use an average true range if you're going to do something and figure out a multiple of that. So let's say you're trading something that has an average true range of $5 or 5 points. Well, what you want to do is take that average true range, multiply that times 2. So now you have a 10-point stop, and now your target will be either a 3 or a 5 or an 8 multiple of that average true range. So in other words, if you're going to risk 2 average true ranges, you would want to ideally make at least 3 average true ranges. So you would risk 5 to make 15 potentially. So that would be on, the stop and target side of things, but it is one of the most common questions that you will receive. Yeah.
Now I imagine the risk is a big part of that. So if I'm taking 10 points as a stop loss and I've got a relatively small account, that means I've got not too many shares that I can afford to trade at one time.
Exactly, and if you are working with the constraint of not having a ton of discretionary money to trade with, figure out first what market you're going to trade. So if you don't have as much money in your stock account, you might be able to trade a futures account with smaller money. If you can't trade a futures account, you can always go down to a micro or a mini Forex account and trade at least its real money then. You'll be trading dollars and pennies, but at least it won't be a demo account where you're just lying to yourself, basically.
All right, now on the average true range part, what if I've got a 200-day moving average that is before that average true range? Right. Do I put it further away? Do I put it right above it? What do I do in that point?
That's a good question. I would probably just be a stickler for the rules and say I'm going to use 2 times an average true range and either 3, 5, or 8 times an average true range as a target, because if you second guess yourself like, ooh, it's coming down to the 200 or the 50, then you're not going to be able to keep really good records in your trading journal, and that's always going to be in the back of your head.
So be consistent with it.
Yeah, try to be consistent.
Hubert, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You're watching the MoneyShow.com video network.